Yep.
But I mean, back in the day, man, types of girls in high school, oh man, the hot ones, they had like the black Raiders starter jacket on, had like the tight black jeans, and shoes, man. They had like the Nike Cortez, man, the black ones.
Did they have the Nike Cortez with the footsie socks?
Eating pickles with Tootsie Pops, and yeah, okay, yeah.
Let's stop.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of O Kix. And what's the topic today?
Today, God, I think, well, since we're just starting this whole thing, you're probably wondering where the heck we came from, and pretty much how did we end up in all this, and how did we end up becoming fans of sneakers, or collectors, as it were.
Yep, we're gonna cover some of the shameful details and how we got into sneakers and how we went from one pair to about 30 a piece.
And sometimes that might be just a lowball guess, but we won't get into that yet. Anyway, you didn't even introduce yourself to the inner world, man.
Oh, yeah, I'm Holland.
And I'm DJ Melvis. Does this guy know how to party or what?
Raise the roof.
Okay, so yeah, the whole genesis of becoming a fan of sneakers. I mean, where did it all begin? I guess I'd start with me. I mean, for me, it was like shoes were just a thing, that we wore. It's like, yeah, at the beginning of the school year, you got your one pair of kicks. You wore it for everything. You wore it to church, you wore it to school, you wore it wherever. You didn't even think about it. And sometimes you don't even know how big a deal it is until someone calls you out on, like you get clowned for the shoes you wear. And this happened to me in junior high, actually, when I got my first pair of Pro Wings. And it's like, when you saw it was like high tops basketball shoes. Okay, cool, these must be pretty neat. You don't think anything of it.
I actually got the Pro Wings with the song. I got the Pro Wings with the Velcro.
He got the Velcro.
I didn't even learn how to tie my shoes until I was like 8 or something, but my parents bought me Pro Wings all the time. I either had like a black and gray pair or like a white pair. I was wearing like old man shoes at the age of like 6 or 7.
See, the Velcros, man, that's like, for me, when I was growing up, you were wearing Velcros past 5th grade, that was already open season on you. But anyway, so yeah, when I got the Pro Wings, it was like, everyone said you couldn't afford J's or whatever and stuff, and it was like, well, you kind of got a little hurt about it, but then, you start thinking later on, once I started looking at Foot Locker and stuff like that and seeing all the cool shoes there, I remember seeing like the Jordan 4s for the first time, and seeing it with like the netting on the side and the like straps, and I mean, it was like some crazy technology going on, the air bubble. I'm like, man, I want that. And my folks ended up getting me a pair of Air Flight 89s, which really wasn't that far off, and all things told, it was a pretty good consolation prize, and it had like, what you guys call the true blue colorway nowadays. Like, familiar with that with the Jordan 3s, and that's when I was starting to like pay attention to these things. Like, okay, these kicks are pretty fly. I can get with this sort of fashion.
For me, it was like, okay, in not middle school, elementary school, like back 4th, 5th grade, mostly 5th grade, okay? This is when I got into like hip hop music. I started watching music videos and stuff. I started seeing dudes with the starter jackets. Oh, UNLV and Raiders jackets back then. Oh, the starter parka, that was the thing to wear, and a pair of Jordans. And I remember I had a neighbor who had a pair of Fire Red 5s. I think he had the metallic ones. And all I saw was the air bubble. And then my older cousin, he also got a pair of Jordans too. So I was looking up to my older cousin a lot. But I couldn't cop. But then the first pair of like nice pair of shoes that I got was actually, I had to beg my aunt for this. My aunt was visiting from Canada. She wanted to buy me something nice. And so I ended up picking out a pair of Air Tech Challenge 1 in the purple and orange colorway.
That's right. Those are the Andre Agassi ones, right?
Andre Agassi's, yep. Don't know why. I don't even watch tennis.
It was the beautiful hair. It was that luscious flowing mullet, man.
The way it flowed during the Canon commercials back in the day, the Canon Rebel commercials. Oh,
Image is everything. Oh yeah, I mean that's pretty interesting there because I mean around that time, sneaker technology was getting really big. I mean they were marketing that on TV, like you had the air bubbles on, like you know the Air Max 90s.
Yeah. Shout outs to Tinker Hatfield for that.
That you had Converse React Juice. You know when Larry Johnson got into the league, that was a big deal. You had Reebok Pump, so shout out to Dominique Wilkins and like D Brown, yeah, the no look dunk and all that good stuff. So yeah, it was a good time to be like just checking up on the sneaker game and you're like, wow, shoes are like, this is the future we're looking at here. And so yeah, it was hard not to get a little caught up in that. So I started, after those Flight 89s, I remember getting the Converse Magic Thrill-Ins because, Magic Johnson was my favorite player. And then I had after high school, had the Reebok Black Tops, which I remember they marketed big time as being the shoe made for the black top, and it had like the Hexalite technology in there, which I think was on the Victory Court pumps too. So yeah, I mean,
later on.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, yeah, I kind of want to have the freshest shoes that were, make me not look only fly, but yeah, I could do stuff with this, even though I was hardly the athlete,
Yeah. And what other shoes I got? They were always like cheap shoes from I don't know. That my parents bought me. They always had to be on sale, but I didn't get like the main signature shoe. I just got like the cheaper models that had the same technology. I got some random pair of Converse with the React Juice. I got some random Reebok trainers with the Reebok pump. I remember they were black and purple and turquoise. I guess grape.
That's what y'all would call it.
Yeah,
nowadays.
and I wanted the pump, and back then it was after the energy return system, so they started having the Hexalite technology. But I wanted to just get the pump just to hear it go. And I kept doing that in the middle of class when I was like in middle school, and then I think one of the teachers told me to stop playing with my shoes.
Well, there are worse things you could be playing with, really.
It is middle school.
Oh yeah, that exploratory time. Well, I think I did kind of jump ahead, so around the time you were in middle school, I was in like high school, early college.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of did gloss over the MX Thrill-Ins, Black Tops. I had like the Air Delta Force, lows for a while there too. And then after that, getting into college, I remember I kind of fell off for a short bit, because I was going through that whole alternative grunge phase, so it's like Doc Martens or GTFO, It was kind of funny like that, and I didn't really get back into shoes until probably 90s, about like the mid to late 90s when the Penny 2s came out. I saw that commercial and, I saw those shoes felt. I remember I ran into a large sum of money once from a game show, which is, you can ask me about that anytime. And I remember the first thing I did when I went to the mall was saw those Penny 2s with like the white with the Atlantic blue trim. And then, yeah, it was like pretty nice to be able to look at the hottest shoe on the planet at the moment. Like, I am getting that. So, yeah, that's when I started kind of going back to the high-end stuff. And yeah, after that, I want to say like shoes I can remember after that might have been like the Iverson 3s. Yeah.
For me, in high school, when I was in high school, it was when you got into college. I actually got into like flipping through East Bay magazine because all the cool kids were doing it, so I was just trying to be cool, and I was like, hey, look, I got the newest East Bay, and of course, it's just window shopping because there's shoes that my parents would never buy me, and then it was all the privileged kids I noticed that had like they got the foams when they first came out, the Concord 11s, they had the pennies, they had both pennies actually, and man, I was just looking straight admiring.
Yeah, window shopping, I totally know the feeling with catalogs. I mean, I was that way with East Bay, even like Crutchfield, because I was such a big car audio guy, so I was looking for that for electronics and stuff.
Crutchfield was in my rotation during silent reading, hiding in between legitimate books.
But yeah, and I think I remember the first Jordans I actually got because I know everyone on the world, has their Jordan story or whatever. My first ones were actually the Jordan 4. Back in like 2000 or so, they released the, I guess what they call the Oreos, even though it kind of looks more like cookies and cream because it's got the, gray with the cool gray with the black splatters.
The ones without the netting, right?
It didn't have the netting, yeah, and it had like the kind of tumbled leather almost, like if I broke out my pair, which I still have, miraculously, it hasn't like completely disintegrated. Yeah, it was just like kind of, after lusting for fours for about 10 years or so, it's like finally I can get these, and it was pretty awesome. And I guess the cool thing about those fours is they've represented me well in a few things. Like if you find videos of me on the internet playing DDR winning tournaments and Dance Dance Revolution, I actually competed in that.
That's actually how I met this dude. It's like through playing Dance Dance Revolution. I was terrible at the game, but this guy was like top 3 player in the country, top 4, top 5 somewhere.
I won a few tournaments.
Yeah.
Let's not,
let's
ease up, Romeo.
Yeah, let's get off that topic. Around that time, actually my first pair of Jordans weren't really the Jordans you would think of. It was Team Jordans. I had the Jumpman Pro Quick. That was Eddie Jones's shoe, actually, when he was with the Hornets. And he was one of the first athletes to join Team Jordan.
I was really sad when Eddie Jones left the Lakers that time. I'm a Lakers fan here, so that did bum me out.
Yeah, and I bought those at Nordstrom Rack, and those are on sale. Those were my college shoes, and then from that point on, I was wearing random stuff like New Balances. I was wearing New Balances because I saw it on Initial D, and I wanted a heel toe, even though I drove an automatic. Whatever. And then I had like some random like Air Max trainers. I don't know which year, 94 or maybe the 96s. I can't tell you. It's such a long time. And then I got like T-Mac 2s because like I got into fantasy sports, and like the first player that intrigued me post Jordan retirement was Tracy McGrady, and from that point on, it's whatever the hell was cheap.
I mean, fantasy football, Dance Dance Revolution, clearly our nerd cred is not going to be lost anytime soon. But, yeah.
How did it lead to you getting shoes now?
Oh, okay.
What led to that?
Let's see. Well, I mean, kind of bridging the gap between like the early 2000s to now. I mean, I was still kind of stayed a little bit on top of the game. Like, I remember getting the first LeBron Zoom Gen 1s when they came out in like 03 or so.
I remember you told me about that. That was like I was just getting his basketball cards. I wasn't really interested in shoes, but I was aware they came out.
Yeah, it was funny because my sister, I remember she was buying me like a Christmas gift saying, you can get any shoes you want. And she was trying to convince me to get some kind of dress shoes that make me look like a hipster, would look like bowling shoes. I was like, hell no. I wanted a LeBron, so got that. Then later on, yeah, I sort of kept up on the Jordans. I was more interested in the retros, obviously, because that's what I grew up liking. I started, being interested in the shoes that were a little bit more limited. Like, I remember for one of my birthdays, I got the CP3-2 House of Hoops exclusive.
The Mardi Gras.
Yeah, they had like the Chinese lettering in the back and stuff. It was like aqua, Orion blue, and white and black. Because Chris Paul probably is one of my more favorite players nowadays. Then also I remember got it was the Nike Air trainers that had the Tecmo Bo Jackson on there. I remember you helped me with that.
Yeah, I actually took a photo of it, and I was like, hey dude, these are $50 at the outlet. So you want them? And you're like, hell yeah! And I tried to get Ross a pair, but he could find his small feet size.
Yeah. But yeah, I think what I started noticing in a lot of the shoe fashions is that they were screaming to a lot of my fandoms. Like I was a fan of video games, so yeah, the Tecmo Bow kind of talked to me. And then I started noticing with like the Nike SB brand, they would do like all sorts of lines that had a theme. Like they would do the Fallen Heroes, which is like Milli Vanilli, Vanilla Ice, Pee Wee Herman, which I thought was pretty funny, and it's the kind of goofy stuff that I would rock occasionally. Or they did like the hair metal series that had the Guns N' Roses, Poison, Motley Crue. They did those. So I was starting to see shoes not as just something you wear on your feet, you kick on whenever you get out the house, but this is like something that could say something about you and your personality. And yeah, I guess shoes became an extension of my personality, and the fact that I have so many different things that I like, I'm just really diverse out there kind of person. And you know, I gotta have a shoe for everything, so kind of gotta have it, you know, became a reality.
Yeah, for me it was like the first pair of like nice shoes that I bought with my own money. Again, that was like something special to me. Was like the penny 4. It was like when I first got my first real job, I guess. It was, I mean, a paycheck that was more than like $12 an hour. Yeah, penny 4s from the outlet, and then ended up getting some black toe Air Jordan 14s for like $80 from Foot Action, like out coupons and everything. The precursor is actually my pair of steel gray 10s.
You gotta work on that yoga, man, you know, get that whole sunset.
I'm doing the DDP yoga. Anyway, for some reason, that shoe, I don't know how it got on my radar, but I think I saw it on the internet or something, or I saw it on eBay, and I was like, I gotta have that shoe, but I don't want to pay box price, which was $125, which is a bargain now. So
I'd say box price is like the new sale nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah. And then it led up to, you know, me getting Black Hat 3s in 07, and then after that I just like wore whatever was on sale, and back to my cheap phase again until 2010 when I got those awful like Air Jordan Fusions 6s in the white and varsity purple. Shut up. And
not judging.
And then I realized that these are the clunkiest, crappiest shoes that I've ever put on. So I decided to sell them off on eBay, and then that's when I hopped on like Nike Talk and Soul Collector, and I just started combing through the marketplace. And I ended up with a pair of Air Jordan Wheat 13s, which another pair I was lusting over since like 2005. There's a story behind that pair, but I'll discuss it in another video. But yeah, since then, here I am now, and I dragged this dude into it by linking him to a bunch of shoes. Hey, check out what I just got.
Google Talk all day, man. Just me and him linking shoes back and forth. And then it got to a point where it's like, he's reading the same blogs, you know, that I am. It's like, did you hear about this? Like, yeah, of course I did, you know. So, you know, that's kind of how this channel came about. When our fandom started going around to our friends, and we'd be talking about it in front of them. Then one of our friends said, why don't you just do something on YouTube and talk about it? And, you know, hey,
here we are.
Ta-da!
Yeah, and then speaking of following blogs and stuff, I'm just starting to get him into watching some YouTube videos. They weren't really your thing until like I was like, oh, well, check out, you know, Farmer Simpson and, you know, Kick Genius and Kicks on Court. That's all we have to say about that. I think this video is
gotta be bright and loud, you know, like these.
Incredibly
You know,
loud.
since he showed off his kicks, I might as well show off what I have today. Got the Ms. Pac-Mans right here, SBs. As you can probably be able to tell later on throughout this series, the SB line is probably my favorite just because nice, comfy, easy to wear, and so much personality to go with them.
Yep. And speaking of shoes on feet, you know the drill from the last video, the very first video that we did, the episode 0. We're gonna dance badly with shoes as our on feet videos, and enjoy. And I have dirty shoes on.
Asians dancing badly.
Woo! See you later.
Until the next episode, or until we get fired. On the next episode of Box of Kicks, we have the answer to the question that's been burning on your mind forever. Which peanut butter and jelly to use when posting pics of your breads on Instagram? That's right, cream on this side, and you ain't ready for this jelly. Should I like just Fat Joe and... yeah, glass tastes bad.